Across the globe, scientists have cataloged millions of unique species. Yet, deep within the South Atlantic region, or more specifically Durham, North Carolina, a truly singular specimen has emerged. My co conspirator and I had one simple mission with this project: to understand the mathematical enigma known only as James Robertson.
Currently embedded in a high-level PhD program in an undisclosed location, James spends his days attempting to decode his surroundings using black magic. But he is more than a creature of academia, for he has many other curiosities. To truly understand this enigma, we must consult those who observed him closest in the field. These are their stories.
I can't say. I'm sure you know some of the things I'm talking about, but
スキンウォーカー
I can't say.
that's one of the ones I can't repeat.
There's a few stories I have that I can't say on camera.
Many years ago, I encountered a strange stony ruin. I walked inside, and amongst many ruined books, James perched atop them like a frog, announced himself as James, to which I said, "Hey man, we've been great friends ever since."
Okay, so that...
Just a very, very free spirit.
My first impression was that I was like, I liked his curly hair.
Nice.
I liked his earrings too.
Yep. He does
and
have a
then-
distinct style.
Yes, he does. And then my friend Liz was chatting with him, and I was like, this guy is so chill. Like, this is like a chill guy, and like Liz likes him, and that was a smart approval.
I remember talking to this guy, and he just was very personable, and I noticed, you know, he kind of went to me and wanted to know more about me, and he was interested in what I was saying, and everyone loves that, right? He just is a really friendly guy.
We met in class, I assume. I'd like to imagine he was wearing jorts and a tank top. And I feel pretty confident that that's true.
He was a fucking nerd.
Every great mystery requires a closer look at the data. Field notes show that James possesses behavioral patterns that baffle traditional logic. Before entering academia, he was spotted working at the local vet school, perhaps studying other species to assist in optimizing his own assimilation.
His habits are erratic, but always serves a purpose. Although often only understood by himself, he is known to seek refuge in the campus jewelry studio, meticulously crafting metal and stone. Yet, when entering the kitchen, he fiercely refuses to follow a single recipe. We look now at the testimonials from his closest friends of his most peculiar moments.
I went to Applebee's with him for my first Applebee's experience, and he ordered a white wine and a Fireball, and immediately dumped the Fireball into the white wine. And I think that was one of the bravest things I've ever seen anyone do.
And we're partaking of the Italian food. It's really yummy and it's a good time. And at some point, at some point over the meal, I remember James is like, he's looking up at this sort of stained glass lamp above the table, and he just starts going, chemical warfare, chemical warfare, chemical warfare.
Specifically, one time I got into his old car, and one, he had the windows down already, but two, he had a carbon monoxide detector in the cabin because his cabin was leaking carbon monoxide. And he specifically was trying to make sure that nobody died inside of his vehicle.
It was my first time trying takoyaki at H Mart, and I didn't like it. And he's like, you better not waste it. He told me to either swallow it or spit it into his mouth.
ジェームズとの一番変な経験、変な経験といえば、いや特にないと思うんだけど、なんか
In reality, my weirdest time with James is like every single time I meet him, because he's always up to something kind of strange. Like last time I saw him, he was cutting up his old pair of pants, saying like, you know, they serve me well. But he's just chopping away, and making squares out of them. I'm like, what are you gonna do with it? He's like, I probably got sew it into something. So like times like that, he's just like always up to something odd.
My weirdest experience is probably the months where I was living in the house with him, and it was just strange. Every now and then, I'd wake up in the middle of the night with this feeling that someone was staring at me, watching me. I'd occasionally turn my head and I would see what looked like a silhouette, and I couldn't always make out, details, but there was one night that it was a little brighter than usual. I think the neighbor might have had the lights on their porch on or something, and I swear I saw curly hair. I don't know what that was about, but, he's a good friend.
Because it seems impossible to figure out James's classification through modern methods, we turned our search instead to ancient folklore. He possesses the complex analytical brain of a mythical sphinx, yet the gentle artistic disposition of a forest sprite. He is a creature of pure logic on paper, but pure whimsy in reality. We asked his close observers to analyze his traits, study his aura, and determine which mythical being truly captures his essence.
He would absolutely be a fae.
Well, we had a drawing contest with horses, and on his horse he drew, I think, a blue and green dragon. So I think it's possible there is something he was trying to express.
So there's a lot of different names for these things. The Native Americans call them Wendigo. There's some cultures call them skinwalkers. I think at the end of the day, James is some kind of shape-shifting, ethereal entity that I don't know what his intent for me is.
I don't know, maybe like a Wendigo?
Mermaid.
Gnome.
Gnome? Can you elaborate?
He'd be a skinwalker.
Do you have any evidence or experiences helping to reinforce that point?
Well, I can't talk about it.
Despite appearance, I think fairy kind of goes in that realm just a little bit. I think they're smart, creative, and they do a bunch of different things. But then it's also they just need a little push, and then they start being chaotic.
I would say he's a mixture between a skinwalker and the Mothman.
Oh yeah, definitely a narwhal.
A what?
Narwhal?
A narwhal?
Yeah.
What's a narwhal?
Like the ones with the horns. Narwhal.
Narwhal, the
Yeah.
actual animal?
Oh, there's a real?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I still stand by.
Okay.
I don't actually believe in narwhals.
Well, I have no idea what that question is supposed to mean. I was just handed this piece of paper and told to hold it up, so...
Skinwalker. I mean, look at it. Looks just like it.
I think he would be the Fresno Nightcrawler, because specifically the Fresno Nightcrawler looks ominously like a pair of jeans, and James notoriously enjoys his jorts, so I think that if he was a cryptid, he would haunt the world as a small pair of pants.
I think he'd probably be a wizard, because of the way he fixes computers.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of insane. He has magical powers.
The Chronicles of Narnia, Mr. Tumnus. I think it's mostly because of the curly hair a little bit. There's also something a little woodland-esque about James. I think he just kind of could appear in the woods and lead you around a little. And I think the scarf, I think James would look good in that scarf. And so, a satyr.
これは難しいね。やっぱりジェームズが神話的な生物だったといえば、例えばね、アメリカのアナログホラーっていうやつのスキンウォーカーってありませんですか？これマジこれ。
We have debated the folklore, yet our investigation ultimately revealed that his true power cannot be calculated by any mathematical model. Beneath the erratic hobbies and the recipe-less meals lies a rare specimen. The true essence of James is best expressed by those that have cracked beneath the surface and gotten to the heart of what makes James, James.
That really stuck with me, and I still have to remind myself of, where he was talking about how I was being really stressed out. I'm always stressed out.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, sometimes I get stressed out too, and I stop having fun. And then I remember that the whole reason that I'm here is I came back because I wanted to do this and have fun. And so if I'm not having fun, I just stop doing that and start having fun again.
Makes other people around him have like a better time. Like I think he's always made sure that like we always have a good time and that everyone's like learning, everyone's also doing stuff outside of the classroom and stuff. He makes sure that everything's well balanced. So that's what I really love about him. So the emails are always fun. I think it's always like a fun little newsletter that you're like looking forward to every week.
Nice.
You want to see the memes and the jokes and everything involved inside of it, which I think is funny because it comes from like a very professional looking email on behalf of the students, and then you just go through like different fonts, different funny pictures and everything, and it's just chaos inside of the email. Nice. It's always fun.
He's always just kind of like a centering force, if that could be a way to describe it, with people. Like whenever there's like a get together, a lot of the times James is the one facilitating it or hosting it, and just kind of like he's a glue in a lot of ways, I would say.
I think that probably my favorite is that unlike a normal person who's neurotypical, he doesn't have a separate voice for sarcasm at all.
I'm a huge fan of his passion for life. He, in everything that he does, that he cares about, he puts himself into it 110%. Always a fun guy to talk to. You can talk with him about anything. Yeah, just a good guy.
I don't think James should change a thing. I think James should just keep on being a wonderful person. He's made a great impact on my life, and yeah, I think that thing I said about like he just immediately feels like a friend, I think that meant a lot to me here in a place where I didn't know a lot of people. Now I know James.
Don't change. Don't lose any of that chaotic energy as you get older. Stay the same.
Yeah, recently he's gotten into jewelry making, which is very, very impressive. I wish that I had an artistic capacity like that. Drawing has always been something that I want to do, but I've never really gotten into it. But he's always been there trying to push me to get into it.
Convince him pretty easily to do just about anything if he thinks it'll be a little entertaining or fun, or if it'll help out his friends.
You know, whenever you're talking to James, you feel, I would say, like a sense of calmness, almost like talking to a therapist. So, you know, he just, you can tell by just speaking to him that he cares about people. Mm-hmm. And not everyone has that quality about him. He just, you know, he's really listening to what you got to say. And
the dean of the vet school, who he worked directly under when he worked at the vet school as his statistician. Every time I see her and remind her that I'm related to James, she comes back to the same thing about him. She said, of course he was brilliant in the statistics part, but what always amazed me was the other things he did. He was taking knitting classes and doing all the, pottery, metal things. All these things offered on campus.
Yep.
James is so enigmatic. Mm-hmm. I think that he is maybe not purposely confusing, but is a very confusing person. It almost is like he speaks in riddles.
I love his ambition towards life. It's very inspiring. And I think that makes other people want to be ambitious.
I like that James is a chameleon.
Can you go on?
I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of who James is as a person, but whenever James finds a need or finds it like socially expedient or entertaining, he can become whoever he has to be to talk to whoever he's speaking to. And it's fun for him, I imagine, because he makes a lot of different types of friends, but it's always funny like seeing him do that to somebody else and then realizing that they have no idea that they're talking to a goblin. They think this is some upstanding citizen in a V-neck, but it's actually James waiting to go home and play Dokapon Kingdom with me.
He has this ability to relate to anything you say, no matter what it is.
I admire how James can be himself no matter anywhere, any place, any time. He's always maximum Jamie-will, and that's a very admirable trait.
Brings the department together. I think we'd all just kind of sit around in windowless rooms and do nothing if he didn't organize events. So thanks, James, for
これは難しいね。やっぱりジェームズが神話的の生物だったといえば、例えばね、アメリカのアナログホラーっていうやつのスキンウォーカーってありませんですか？これマジこれ。
I think my favorite, because it involves the entire family,
Okay.
is when he's about 10, I think, and as kids do, he was really focused on one thing,
Yep.
which happened to be magic at the time.
Excellent. I did not know this.
Yes. So we were down at my parents' condo in Morehead City, where they spent a lot of time sailing camp, things like that with them. Very familiar area, and it had this little DG store where you could buy any little stuff.
Yep.
So we got magic things for James.
Okay.
So then we went to this diner a couple of days later that my parents really liked. Very casual, tables close together. Waitress has been there 50
A classic
years.
diner.
A classic diner in a fish-based way. So they always bring hush puppies to the table first, as you should.
As is tradition.
Yes. So we were all enjoying the hush puppies, and all of a sudden my mother goes, "Oh my gosh, James, stop!" Oh my God. We're all looking around. He has an extendable fork from the magic show store.
Yep.
And he is taking hush puppies out of the next table's basket.
Excellent.
And it was a man and a wife. They were older.
Yep.
So the wife is just like, "What is happening?" And the man is just grinning. He said, "I have 4 brothers.
Yep.
This is so familiar to me. This is just fine."
I was probably like 8 years old. We were in the car with my dad, and I got my fingers stuck in the seatbelt. When the strap goes up, I got my fingers stuck in the retracting part, or the part that holds the loop. And I remember my dad just being annoyed and useless, and I just started crying because it hurt a lot, and I was prone to crying. And James just took control, pulled the belt out so that I could get my fingers out of this finger trap. And that's kind of been... That's one thing that I've always appreciated about James, is that he's reliable. And that was a dynamic when we were young, of me crying and him just carrying on.
She was supposed to be watching him, and it was a child gate that had a little metal clip, the bar goes over. And she just sat there and watched him climb to escape, because James is a great escapee.
Yes, he is.
And bam. So you can find the scar still.
He takes his time to understand things, and I think that's an important thing that a lot of people lack. And if he lost that, he probably would be like everyone else.
He was 2 or 3. We went and looked at a daycare, and they had the steepest hill you ever saw in the playground.
Yep.
And they had ride-on cars.
Yeah.
So he dragged the ride-over car to the top of the hill, which ended in a fence.
Yep.
Stuck a big push-off.
Yep.
Stuck his feet straight out, and whee all the way down till he crashed into the fence.
Nice.
I said, 1, not the daycare for us, and 2, I'm not sure I'm ever letting you drive.
James is, of course, an odd duck. But the beauty of living with him and growing up with him is that it's actually other people who are strange. It's weird that other people don't do the things that he does.
I mean, his whole life is a long string of accomplishments. It'd be hard to really, pinpoint one specific thing. I think it's cool he got a full ride, That's pretty rare.
Yep.
There's a core to James.
Yep.
And I was trying to sort through how to even express it. a couple of things, and they kind of go along with what I'm most proud of about him and what I would hope he never changes.
Yep.
And I'm most proud of his really strong sense of self. He
Yep.
is who he is. And he's very kind and very caring and
Yep.
very open to other people and experiences.
Yep.
And I really love the way he's got this powerful intellect, and he uses it to reach his goals, yes, but never at the expense of anybody else.
Yeah.
And he elevates other people.
Yes.
You know, the more he's so invested in other people. He really, really is what you see.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of warmth and just the way you interact with him, you are his focus.
Yeah.
When you're with him, which is really an incredible thing. He just enriches everybody's life. The thing that I hope he never changes is that openness to the whole world and varied experiences and new experiences, enjoying the old experiences he has and sharing them with people, and that intense connection to people. I don't find anything about any of my kids odd, but I'm sure other people do.
Interesting. Okay.
James was a complete and total person when he was born.
Could you like elaborate on what you mean by that?
Well, for example, he was not somebody that clung to you when you carried him. You had to carry him like a sack of potatoes. And he was busy looking everywhere.
Yep.
So, but in the other side of that, he was a bolter. So we had the older brother and James, 2.5 years apart, and the younger one's a bolter. So I decided in my brilliance that putting these new little wristbands on that had a leash on them was a great way to keep up with both of them.
Yes.
Not Edwin, he didn't need it, but James definitely. James glowered at me, crossed his little arms, and plunked his little bottom right down on the ground. He says, I am not moving. He couldn't even talk that well.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely
But he could communicate.
He could.
A final message from your friends and family.
James,
I
want to
fight all of them.
I feel like they're similar.
Truly are one of my favorites.
Get them out, James. Take your skin off.
I think firepower's behind the program I don't know, pretty big and heavy. There's something special about
Put it
that
in the
that
same words
makes
throughout
me
the
happy. I
entire.
hope it makes
Made the place just
Mine's
so
gonna
much
do.
better of a place.
Because it's true.
Is, and because I thought I'd get emotional, I actually wrote this one all out.
Okay.
Because I'm so incredibly grateful to be his mother. I'm reminded constantly how lucky I am. He's my son. James, you've taken the gifts that you were born with and you've expanded on them and you've grown with them and they've grown around you. And you've strengthened them. And you've just become an incredible man. And the other thing I would say to him is just never stop growing and learning. That just continue to expand in the world. There are always barriers. You're always going to hit barriers, but there's always a gate through. And just keep moving through. You'll find your way through. And I love you, James.